Ladies and gentlemen, I got a deal of a lifetime for you. If you leave a like on this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel right now, I'll deliver 3 copies of Little D to your doorstep on April 20th of 2420. So what are you waiting for? Like and subscribe. What's up everybody? Watt007 here and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. In today's Duel Links video, as you guys can tell from the title and why you clicked on this video, we're going to be taking a look at what are the best cards to get with the UR Dream ticket that we just got from the KC Grand Tournament Celebration campaign. For any of you guys that are new to Duel Links, what's awesome about the UR Dream ticket is that it pretty much gives you access to get one copy of pretty much any UR in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, except for a few exceptions, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But as you guys can see, we have a huge selection of all sorts of URs to pick from in this UR Dream ticket. So the point of this video is to give you guys some great recommendations on how to use this Dream ticket, what cards to get, etc, etc. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now the first tip I gotta give you guys when it comes to choosing a card with your UR Dream ticket is that if you legitimately do not know what card you want to get with your UR Dream ticket, do not spend your UR Dream ticket. I say this in every video and the point still stands. With these UR Dream tickets, these UR Dream tickets last a very long time. As you guys can see with this new one right here, the KC Grand Tournament one, this ticket lasts till November 30th of 2020, which means you have so many months to wait and figure out which card you want to get in the future. And what's nice about being able to save this is that you never know months ahead in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links when a new deck comes out that's just absolutely broken, but it needs a couple cards from an extremely old box. Well, if you have your UR Dream ticket just lying around, you can use that to get one copy of one of those old cards to boost up a new meta deck in the game. So I always recommend to save your UR Dream ticket if possible. Now, another tip that I gotta say when it comes to utilizing your UR Dream ticket is do not waste your UR Dream ticket on any cards that were available in a previous event that are available through other tickets in the game and are not from a box. Like if you spend your UR Dream ticket on either of those things, I honestly feel like it's a huge waste. For example, Majestic Star Dragon, really cool card, a really awesome event card. It's not really that good, but it's still a cool card to have in your collection. And this card was attainable in this event, which is currently unavailable. So you're like, huh, if I missed out on this event, could I use the UR Dream ticket on this card? And just don't do that. Always what you should do before deciding which card you want to pick is always click the how to obtain feature right here. See how you can obtain this card, and if the card was available through an event or whatever, be sure to go check your other tickets in the game. Like for example, we have this UR ticket Prismatic. Would you look at that? I can get my Majestic Star Dragon with this Prismatic ticket, and then I can save my UR Dream ticket for a box card. So just never spend your UR Dream ticket on anything except from a box. And also when it comes to picking with your UR Dream ticket, try your best to pick a UR card from a main box so you can save as much gems and as much money as possible. But yeah, do not waste your UR Dream ticket on anything like that. Always check your other tickets, always check the how to obtain button so you guys can see how to get this card, and then if it is available through a box or structure deck, then you can consider using your UR Dream ticket. Now that we got the basics out of the way on how to utilize your UR Dream ticket to its full potential, let me go recommend you guys some cards that are very good that you guys can use your UR Dream ticket on. And this first segment of the video, I'm going to be recommending a ton of cards that are just useful in pretty much any deck that you put them in, and later in the video I'll talk about some other cards that are really good but are only specific in certain decks. But first things first, I gotta strongly recommend Floodgate, Trap Hole, and Paleozoic Canadia. Now in the current meta, I think that Floodgate Trap Hole is a little better than Canadia, but both of these cards are very powerful cards. With Floodgate Trap Hole, when your opponent summons a monster, you can change the monster to face down defense position, and monsters change to face down defense position by this effect cannot change the battle position. This makes Floodgate Trap Hole a very powerful card because a lot of the decks in the game or in this current meta don't really have that many options to tribute off their monsters. So if you keep floodgating your opponent's monsters, they're kind of in this like trap where they can't really do much. I personally been in that position many times with some of the decks that I have played. So I think Floodgate Trap Hole is pretty good because you can shut down certain combos from your opponent. Canadia is also pretty good because you can flip down your opponent's monsters during any point of the duel. You don't need to, you can activate this during the battle phase if you want to, while compared to Floodgate, you have to do it automatically. But with Canadia, you can activate this whenever you want, so it's a more reactable card, which is really cool. And what's also cool about Canadia is the fact that if you have a Canadia in your graveyard and you activate a trap card, you can special summon Canadia onto the field and have it as a monster. So these are both still really good cards. It just depends on what your preference is. I would still probably recommend Floodgate Trap Hole because I think it is a little better in this format, but Canadia is also really good in certain situations. Another reason why I say Floodgate Trap Hole over Canadia is because if you have a couple of dollars to spare, there's actually a bundle in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that gives you a certain amount of packs from the most recent box in the game and gives you a guaranteed copy of Canadia, and it'll get sent to your gift box. Floodgate Trap Hole currently doesn't have that going for it. It is only available in the Generation X box. not in any selection box right now, so I'd definitely say that probably use your UR's Dream Ticket on Floodgate Chapel, and if you have a couple dollars to spare, you can get a copy of Canadia by just spending some money instead of wasting a ton of gems and money on a box. So I would recommend that right there. And then the one other card that I would recommend that is pretty useful in multiple decks is Raigeki Break. In the past, I wouldn't recommend this card, but Raigeki Break has been showing up off and on in certain decks. For example, in the Bootleg 6 Sam deck, Raigeki Break is pretty good for that deck, so you can pitch your guys to the graveyard, pop a card, and then you can utilize your graveyard to go into combos right here, so that's pretty good. I know Blue Eyes has been rocking Raigeki Break, so that would be like my third choice on a pretty good card because it just works really well in this format. In the future, Raigeki Break probably won't be as good as it is right now, so I would still recommend to go for Floodgate or Canadia if you don't have it, but if you already got 3 copies of Floodgate and Canadia, Raigeki Break is honestly not that bad of an idea in this current format. Now, the next card I would recommend is Cosmic Cyclone. This is one of the best cards to utilize to get rid of your opponent's back row. You pay 1,000 life points, target a spell and trap card on the field, and banish it. If you don't got 3 copies of this card, utilizing your Dream Ticket wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Cosmic Cyclone. Now, keep in mind, though, that right now you can get Cosmic Cyclone through the Selection Box Mini 1. So if you have some gems to spare, see if you can get lucky and pull Cosmic Cyclone without wasting your Dream Ticket. If you want to save your gems and just get the Cosmic Cyclone right away, you can do that too. Also, if you have a couple dollars to spare, there's actually a bundle in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links where you can get yourself a guaranteed copy of Cosmic Cyclone. Same thing with the Canadia bundle I was talking about earlier. You get to open up some packs from a previous box and you get a guaranteed copy of the card. So Cosmic Cyclone is available through those 2 other things, but if you don't want to do that, you guys can utilize your Dream Ticket to get Cosmic Cyclone. Very powerful, a back row removal card, can work in a lot of different decks, and if you utilize it properly, you can use the cost of that 1,000 life points being taken away and be able to trigger certain skills in the game that require you to lose a certain amount of life points. So Cosmic Cyclone, very solid card. The next card that I could recommend that you guys can use your UR Dream Ticket on is Necrovalley. Now, in the past, I never recommended this card, but in this current format, Necrovalley is just such a powerful card for the fact that it stops both players from moving cards from the graveyard to a different place. And this shuts down so many decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, it's insane. And personally for me, I'm able to utilize this card pretty efficiently with just 1 copy of this card, because there is some cards in the game that allow you to just bring it out very quickly. For example, with Ancient Fairy Dragon, you can use Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect to destroy a field spell card on the field and then activate another one from your deck onto the field, so you can pop Necrovalley right there. Also, with the new hero structure deck that just came out, you can use Favorite Hero at the beginning of your battle phase, or the beginning of the battle phase. You can activate Favorite Hero's ability to then activate a field spell from your deck onto the field. You can choose Necrovalley, get it on the field, and that just shuts down your opponent's decks if they utilize the graveyard for their combos. So Necrovalley is a very strong card in this current format, and I'd honestly recommend it if you have a lot of the other staples in the game and for some reason don't have Necrovalley. And then my last recommendation on a card that can be used in almost any deck would be Spear Kribo. Now, Spear Kribo is very attainable in the game. I believe it's in a selection box. You can get it through a bundle, and if you don't got 3 copies of Spear Kribo right now, I'd be surprised. But by the off chance that you don't have 3 copies of Spear Kribo, you can use your UR Dream Ticket to get another copy of Spear Kribo. Also, keep in mind that there is another really powerful hand trap in the game that's completely for free called Kiteroid. If you go to the card trader and see if you get lucky with a Kiteroid in the game, you can get some copies of Kiteroid from the card trader, and in some situations Kiteroid is actually better than Spear Kribo, so just a heads up on that. But still, Spear Kribo is a very solid card. You get to pitch this card from the hand to the graveyard, switch your opponent's monster to defense position. This doesn't count as a target effect, so you can pretty much do this on any monster your opponent controls. It's awesome. Now, for this part of the video, I completely forgot to write a bunch of cards that you guys can get with the UR Dream Ticket for the extra deck, so this is going to be pretty much off script. I'm just going to go rapid fire on a ton of cards that are really good that you guys can utilize your UR Dream Ticket on from the extra deck. Broniac, very good 6-star synchro monster, has a very powerful effect where you can discard cards from your hand to the graveyard and then target the same number of cards your opponent controls and return them back to them. Very good card right there. We have Black Rose Dragon, generic 7-star synchro monster. When it's summoned on the field, you can nuke the entire field. Vermilion Dragon Mech, a generic 9-star synchro monster, can be used in Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can banish a tuner monster from the hand, field, or graveyard, target a card on the field, destroy it. Scrap Dragon, generic 8-star synchro monster. You can target 1 card you control, 1 card your opponent controls, and blow them up. You also can target Scrap Dragon for that effect too. Very powerful right there. Invoked Purgatrio is not that much of a generic card that you can put in all sorts of different decks, but it's still a powerful card that you can utilize with Aliester and the Evoker, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Squire Saga, it's a generic 7-star synchro monster that has some pretty cool effects, so you can go take a look at him and see if it would work in your zombie deck. Another pick is Ancient Fairy Dragon. This card is a generic 7-star monster that has a bunch of effects. You can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand, but you cannot conduct a battle phase the turn you activate its effect. Also, you can destroy as many field spell cards on the field, gain 1,000 life points, and then add a field spell card from your deck to your hand. So this card can get rid of your opponent's field spell cards, and you get to add one to your hand if you want to. Armades Keeper of Boundaries, very good 5-star synchro monster. When it attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects at the end of the damage step, so if you swing with this card, you get a guaranteed hit, which is awesome. Mass Hero Hanky is actually a good card to get with your Yu-Gi-Oh! Dream Ticket again, because thanks to the new hero support that's in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, so definitely a good card to get right now. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I mean, Stars Dragon's also okay, but he's in a selection box right now and probably going to get released in a structure deck some point in the future, so I don't know, pretty good card right there. And then Shien's also okay to get with your Yu-Gi-Oh! Dream Ticket, but I wouldn't recommend these two right now, but maybe in the future they would be good. But that's my recommendations for the extra deck side of things. Now, a couple other cards that I could recommend real quick is Forbidden Lance and Forbidden Dress if you don't have these cards. Now, this is definitely a thing where you should wait and not get them right now because these are very situational cards, but basically you can target one monster on the field until the end of the turn. It loses X amount of attack, but then with Forbidden Dress, it cannot be targeted or destroyed by other card effects, and then with Lance, it cannot be, or it's unaffected by the effects of other spell and trap cards. So if you utilize these cards correctly, you can give yourself a really good advantage because you can lower the attack of your opponent's monsters, or you can lower the attack of your own monsters to protect them from field effects and etc. So these are okay recommendations, probably not useful right now, but I could see them being useful in the future, and they could be good side deck cards. Another card that I always recommend, because why not, Into the Void. Same boat as the Forbidden cards I just recommended, but Into the Void can be very interesting if used properly. Can be used in some FTK decks and etc. So if you don't have 3 copies of Into the Void, you could start piling up and try to get 3 copies of Into the Void. Would recommend it right now, but just keep your eye on it in case in the future we need some deck thinning for winning with certain decks. The next card I can recommend is Gold Sarcophagus for a couple reasons. This card is just absolutely insane in Thunder Dragon and Bootleg 6 Sams, and even though that this card is getting hit very soon, I still think this is a good card to look out for the future, simply for the fact that there's going to be new decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that are going to utilize the Banish Zone and whatnot. So Gold Sarcophagus, very powerful card. Now, if you do have the funds to spare and you know have a couple dollars to spend, I would recommend first getting it from the Spellbound Silence EX structure deck. Since it's a structure deck, you're going to get a guaranteed copy of Gold Sarcophagus and Silent Magician, but if you don't want to spend any money, you can use your UR Dream Ticket to get Gold Sarcophagus, so I'd recommend that right now. Also, if you have some gems, you can try to fish it out in the Selection Box Volume 3 if you want. A couple other cards I would quickly recommend is Night Beam and Galaxy Cyclone. In some situation, both of these back row removal cards can be more useful than Cosmic Cyclone, depending on how your deck plays and whatnot, so these are a couple other recommendations I would recommend. I'd recommend Fortune Lady Calling if you want to play Fortune Ladies. This card is extremely powerful and is a must at 3 if you're going to play Fortune Ladies, so there you go. Black Whirlwind is a very powerful card if you're going to be playing Black Wings. It's definitely a must-have at 2 or 3, so if you don't got 2 copies of the card, I would recommend Black Whirlwind. And then last but not least, when it comes to spells, I'd recommend Fusion Gate, only because of the fact that Cyber Dragons with Fusion Gate is extremely spicy, and I could see Fusion Gate being useful in the future. So right now, probably not the best thing to go for, but if you're playing Cyber Dragons, I'd consider it. When it comes to trap cards, I'd recommend Magician's Navigation if you don't have 3 copies of this card yet. Magician's Navigation is an extremely powerful card if you want to play Dark Magician. So if you don't got 3 copies of Navi yet, you might want to consider that if you're playing Dark Magician. Onto the monster side of thing, if you guys are playing Black Wings, feel free to use your UR Dream Ticket onto trying to get the 3rd copy of a certain Black Wing that you want. There are so many UR Black Wing cards in the game, and for some of you guys that just don't got all the gems and money in the world, definitely consider trying to get Poison Wind or Gale the Whirlwind to finish your Black Wing deck. Probably want to focus on Poison Wind because this guy really gets combos going, because you can search for Black Whirlwind, you have this 6-star monster, and you can just go for some crazy plays. So probably prioritize Poison Wind, but if you already got 3 copies of the card, then consider some of the other Blackwing UR cards since there's so many of them in the game. If you're a Crystron player and want to save a little bit of money, go for this Crystron card right here. I don't know how to properly play Crystrons, but I know that this is a card that you need to be at 3 because this card just gets the combo going. So if you're a Crystron player, just feel free to go for this card because it's a very solid card. Whitestone and Ancient, if you're playing Blue Eyes White Dragon, is a must-have at 3 in my opinion. This card just does so much for the deck. Once this is sent to the graveyard by any means possible, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from during the end of your turn, which is just absolutely absurd. You can banish this card and then add a Blue Eyes monster from graveyard back to your hand. It just promotes so many combos, and it's a very good card. If you don't have 3 copies of it, like, get it so that you can play your Blue Eyes deck if you play Blue Eyes. Quick Draw Synchron, Psychic Wielder, and Junk Synchron are all very good tuner monsters, so if you already have most of the staples like Floodgate and Canadia and whatnot, and you want to boost up your Synchro deck, definitely recommend these cards right here because you guys can go for some spicy plays. I think Psychic Wielder is probably the best one out of the three, but still, these cards are very good tuner monsters. Element Saber Mulru and Aliester the Invoker are very powerful cards to get with your UR Dream Ticket, especially Aliester the Invoker. I don't know if this card's going to get hit anytime soon, but if you don't have 3 copies of this card, I'd recommend trying to get a 3rd copy of this card because this card does so much. When you normal summon this card, you get to add a Invocation. Can't pronounce the word right now, but you can add that spell card from your deck to your hand. You only need to rock like 1 copy of it. Some people rock 2 copies of it, but rocking 1 is perfectly acceptable as long as you have 3 Invoker. So you can search for the fusion spell card, go for your fusion summons, and then go for some powerful invoked monsters. So if you don't got 3 copies of Invoker, definitely recommend that. If you are playing the Invoker deck and already got your 3 copies of Invoker, getting Mulru is also a really good card because Element Sabers can change the attribute type that they are when they're in the graveyard, and you can change it to any attribute you need to, and then you can use Invocation to go for any of your fusion monsters since Mulru can change its attribute when in the graveyard. Also, you can activate this Mulru's effect where when it's on the field, you can send an Element Saber card from hand to the graveyard, and then you can target one of your monsters or one of your opponent's monsters and change it face down defense position. So you can pitch Element Sabers to the graveyard, and this guy is also a Floodgate card. So very powerful card. When these cards are at full power, it is so obnoxious to go against. So I'd recommend using your Dream Ticket on any of these guys because this deck is really good. If you guys are still playing Thunder Dragons, definitely recommend Thunder Dragon Hawk. It's a very powerful card, which is run at 2 or 3 copies of if you're playing Thunder Dragon. So if you need to snag another copy of Thunder Dragon, Dragon Hawk, go for it. If you play Ritual Beast, feel free to go for some extra copies of Window. Window's a very powerful card for the deck, and don't get me wrong, she's looking kind of nice. So if you guys play Ritual Beast, feel free to get that. Chocolate Magician Girl is a very good card for the Magician Girl archetype, and we're going to be getting DSOD Yugi very soon in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which is going to give us some new skills for Magician Girls, and who knows, maybe those new skills will boost up Magician Girl to be a very powerful deck. So if you don't got 3 copies of Chocolate Magician Girl, you might want to consider getting it with your Dream Ticket. Another pick that I could recommend is Breaker the Magical Warrior. It's a 4-star monster. When it's normal summoned, you get a spell counter on the guy. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it, or you can remove a spell counter from this card and destroy a spell trap card that your opponent controls. So solid card right here. Ghost Destroyer is a very powerful card if you're playing Dark Magicians. You can run this card as a 1-of. It's a dark spellcaster monster that you can summon with Magician's Navigation, and this card stops your opponent from being able to banish their cards, and if this card deals battle damage, you can banish your opponent's monsters. So this card is pretty good. Another okay pick I would say is Silent Magician. If you have the funds to spare, be sure to go get the Spellbound Silence EX structure deck because this structure deck gives you so much value because you get Silent Magician and Gold Sarcophagus. But if you don't want to spend any money, go for the Silent Magician. Silent Magician is a very powerful spellcaster monster, and you can utilize your UR Dream Ticket to get a free copy of it. Sangan is a monster that you can get with your UR Dream Ticket. You can add a monster with 1500 less attack from your deck to your hand. So pretty cool card, super good in farms, could be good in future decks in the game. So Sangan's an okay pick. Another pick that I could recommend is King of the Swamp. It's an okay card, could be useful in the future. This is a card that you should keep your eye out for, but I wouldn't like go gung-ho and get this card right now because it's not useful in any top deck or top tier decks yet, but could be useful in the future. Treeborn Frog, same situation as King of the Swamp, not really used that much right now, but could be useful in the future. So another card you should keep your eye on. Gazuki, very powerful card to get. If you don't got 3 copies of this card, maybe wouldn't be a bad idea to get a 3rd copy of this card. Very powerful in so many zombie decks. It is just a good card for zombies, so you could consider Gazuki to boost up your zombie decks. Well, that's going to be it for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. I'm just cutting it abruptly right there because I gave you guys all my recommendations at this current moment. If you watched the video from start to finish and you notice that I didn't recommend a certain card that you think is really good, be sure to go tell me in the comment section down below, and be sure to go tell me what you guys picked with your UR Dream Ticket or if you're going to be saving it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you found this helpful, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more YouTube content. And that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll go see you guys next Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Adios, everybody.